Hi everyone, Senator Ruben Gallego here. Thank you to elected officials to protect America and the Climate Action Campaign for the work you're doing to defend public health, protect our environment, and the fight for working families. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person today. I wanted to take a moment to address the important issue of extreme heat. I want to talk specifically about your work to defend LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. LIHEAP works by giving qualified low-income families assistance on their utility bills, specifically to cover the costs for heating and cooling. And being from Arizona, that really means the cooling. This program is especially important in hot states, where extreme heat makes access to affordable cooling a matter of life and death. In 2023, more than 600,000 families in Arizona qualified for the program, and this year alone, Arizona received more than $30 million in LIHEAP funding. One of the things about LIHEAP that's so great is that this is one of the few programs that literally puts money back in people's pockets. And right now, at a time when families across the country are struggling with their utility bills, programs like this would actually make a difference for the families who need it most. But here's the other thing. While states have received their funding for this year, LIHEAP is under attack. As you all know, back in April, the Trump administration laid off the entire staff that runs the program. And in next year's budget, Trump is trying to eliminate LIHEAP entirely. That means no one to run the program and less financial relief to keep people safe in the next heat wave. Without LIHEAP, too many families will be unable to afford their utility bills and will be left without AC, even in our 115-degree weather or worse. And that's extremely dangerous. I've been fighting these cuts every step of the way because I know leaving this program unstaffed is unacceptable and dangerous. We actually need to increase our support for programs like these, not cut them. I've been trying to reform the LIHEAP program both in the House and the Representatives and in the Senate. So I've introduced the LIHEAP Parity Act to reform the formula that determines how much LIHEAP aid each state gets so it doesn't unfairly disadvantage hot weather states like Arizona. For example, in 2023, less than 5% of eligible households in Arizona received LIHEAP assistance with cooling compared to places like Michigan, where 90% of eligible households got assistance with their heating. That goes to a broader problem, not just in LIHEAP, but in many federal programs and resources, that extreme heat is not treated as an emergency it is. Extreme heat kills more people every year than floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes combined. And heat deaths are continuing to grow year after year. But because we don't call it a disaster, communities can't access the resources they need to fight it. That's why I introduced the Extreme Heat Emergency Act to make extreme heat a federally recognized disaster so that communities can qualify for federal disaster assistance and won't have to drain their budgets trying to keep people safe. I also introduced the Excess Urban Heat Mitigation Act, which creates a grant program to get funding directly to communities for solutions to extreme heat, like planting more trees for shading, shaded bus stops, or installing roofs that actually reflect sunlight instead of trapping it in. Because look, extreme heat and high temperatures, these are the threats. We need to take them seriously. And that includes programs and funding at the federal level to help people combat it and keep costs down. At the end of the day, this is about keeping people safe. So I'm going to keep fighting until programs that protect Arizonans from the effects of extreme heat, like LIHEAP, are protected, expanded, and funded at the levels families in Arizona need and deserve. So thank you again for all the work you're doing on this issue. I am glad to have partners like you in this fight, and I look forward to continuing the work together.